In 1963, the quiet town of Haddonfield, Illinois, is rocked by a horrific act on Halloween night. 6-year-old Michael Myers, in a chilling display of cold-blooded violence, takes a kitchen knife from a drawer and climbs the stairs to his older sister Judith's bedroom. As she brushes her hair at her vanity, unaware of his presence, Michael stabs her repeatedly, leaving her lifeless body on the floor. The act is silent and methodical, devoid of emotion. Police apprehend the young Michael, and he is committed to Smith's Grove Sanitarium, where Dr. Samuel Loomis, a seasoned psychiatrist, begins studying his unsettlingly blank demeanor. Michael spends 15 years in the sanitarium, silent and unresponsive, his gaze fixed and emotionless. On October 30th, 1978, during a routine transfer, Michael overpowers the medical staff, kills them, and escapes in a stolen car. He returns to Haddonfield, stealing a white, expressionless mask and blue coveralls from a hardware store, transforming into a silent predator. He begins stalking Laurie Strode, a high school babysitter, and her friends Annie Brackett and Linda Vander Clock. Michael moves through Haddonfield's suburban streets undetected, hiding in shadows and peering through windows. He kills Annie by strangling her in a parked car and slashing her throat with a knife. Later, he strangles Linda with a telephone cord as she speaks to Laurie. Laurie, babysitting young Tommy Doyle, senses an ominous presence as footsteps echo outside. Michael enters the Doyle house, pursuing Laurie through its darkened rooms. She hides in a closet, but Michael breaks through the wooden slats. Dr. Loomis, tracking Michael's trail, arrives just in time. In the upstairs hallway, Loomis fires 6 precise shots from his revolver into Michael's chest. The bullets strike with force, each one pushing Michael backward. The final shot sends him crashing through a second-floor balcony railing, his body plummeting to the lawn below. Loomis rushes to the window, but the grass is empty. Michael has vanished, leaving no trace of his fall. Michael reappears. That same night, Michael reappears, undeterred by the shooting, and follows Laurie to Haddonfield Memorial Hospital, where she's been admitted for her injuries. The hospital, dimly lit and understaffed, becomes a death trap. Michael moves silently through its corridors, killing a nurse with a scalpel to the neck, a doctor by bludgeoning him with a metal tray, and a security guard by submerging his face in scalding water in a therapy tub. Laurie, limping and disoriented from pain medication, hides in storage rooms and crawls under hospital beds to evade him. Michael's shadow looms at every corner, his knife gleaming under flickering fluorescent lights. Dr. Loomis arrives, joining Laurie in an operating room. Cornered, Laurie grabs a handgun from Loomis's coat and fires 2 shots, one into each of Michael's eyes. Blood streams from beneath his mask, blinding him momentarily. Yet, Michael continues his advance, swinging his scalpel with relentless instinct. Loomis, realizing conventional means won't stop him, opens the valves of flammable anesthetic gas stored in the room. With a grim expression, he flicks his lighter, igniting the gas. A massive explosion erupts, engulfing the room in flames. Michael staggers into the hallway, his body fully ablaze, flames consuming his coveralls and mask. His steps slow as the fire chars his flesh, each movement more labored than the last. Finally, he collapses to the tiled floor, motionless, as the inferno reduces his form to a smoldering heap. In 1988, 10 years after the hospital fire, Michael survives, though he remains in a deep coma, his body scarred and monitored in a secure facility. During a transfer to a new hospital, he overhears a conversation about his niece, Jamie Lloyd, Laurie Strode's daughter, now living in Haddonfield. The mention of her name rouses him from his coma. He kills the ambulance crew by snapping their necks and escapes. Returning to Haddonfield, Michael resumes his killing spree, targeting locals who cross his path. He stabs a mechanic for his coveralls and strangles a store clerk. Jamie, now 8, becomes his primary target. Armed townspeople, organized by the sheriff, attempt to stop him, patrolling the streets with rifles. Michael climbs onto a truck carrying Jamie and her foster sister, Rachel Carruthers. He kills the armed escorts one by one, snapping bones and slashing throats. Rachel, desperate to protect Jamie, takes the wheel of the truck. She accelerates down a rural road, then slams the brakes, ejecting Michael onto the pavement. As he rises, bloodied but unyielding, Rachel floors the gas pedal, striking him head-on with the truck's grill. The impact sends Michael tumbling across the road. Jamie approaches her uncle's body, reaching out hesitantly, but he lunges at her with a knife. Before he can strike, police and townspeople arrive, unloading a barrage of gunfire. Bullets tear through Michael's body, blood pooling beneath him as he collapses, seemingly lifeless. 1 year later, in 1989, Michael, having survived the shooting, is found near death by a hermit who nurses him back to health in a secluded cabin. On the next Halloween, Michael awakens, kills the hermit by crushing his skull with a rock, and returns to Haddonfield to pursue Jamie, now mute and traumatized from the previous year. Dr. Loomis, bearing scars from the hospital explosion, discovers Jamie has a psychic connection to Michael, sensing his presence. Determined to end the terror, Loomis uses Jamie as bait, setting a trap in the old Myers house where Michael killed Judith decades earlier. Inside, Loomis lures Michael into a prepared room. A heavy metal net drops from the ceiling, pinning Michael to the floor, its steel links digging into his skin. Fueled by years of frustration, Loomis grabs a wooden beam and strikes Michael repeatedly across the head and torso. Each blow lands with a thud, splintering the wood. Michael struggles but eventually collapses, motionless under the net. Police arrive, securing him for transport to a maximum security facility. 6 years later, in 1995, Michael is under the influence of the Cult of Thorn, a secretive group that believes he embodies an ancient curse. Jamie, now a teenager, has been kidnapped by the cult and forced to give birth to a child as part of a ritual to sustain the curse. Tommy Doyle, the boy Laurie babysat in 1978, now an adult, tracks Michael to a cult-controlled facility. In a confrontation, Tommy injects Michael with a syringe filled with a corrosive chemical, likely acid, which burns through his tissue, causing visible pain. Michael writhes, clutching his arm. Tommy then grabs a lead pipe from the floor and delivers a series of brutal blows to Michael's head and chest. The pipe dents with each strike, and Michael collapses, blood pooling around him. Later, when Loomis checks the site, only Michael's mask remains, suggesting he escaped, though this timeline ends ambiguously. In a separate timeline, 20 years after 1978, Laurie Strode lives as a headmistress under a false identity at a private school, haunted by her past. Michael tracks her down, killing students and staff to reach her. Laurie decides to confront him. In a calculated move, she lures Michael into a trap, maneuvering a van to pin him against a sturdy oak tree. The vehicle's weight crushes his ribs, immobilizing him. Laurie retrieves an axe from the van, its blade glinting in the moonlight. She raises it high and swings with full force, decapitating Michael in one clean strike. His head rolls away, blood spurting from the severed neck, as his body slumps against the tree, allowing Michael to escape. It's later revealed Michael swapped clothes with a paramedic after crushing his larynx, ensuring the man couldn't speak. The decapitated victim was the paramedic, allowing Michael to escape. He returns to his childhood home, now a reality show set. During a chaotic broadcast, the house catches fire. Michael becomes entangled in exposed electrical wires on the set. A high-voltage surge courses through him, causing his body to convulse violently, burns spreading across his skin. An explosion in the fire engulfs him, flames consuming his form entirely. His charred body is taken to the morgue, but as the coroner prepares for an autopsy, Michael's eyes snap open, though this timeline ends without further pursuit. In a 2007 reboot, Michael's troubled childhood, marked by abuse and animal cruelty, leads to his institutionalization after killing his family. He escapes and pursues Laurie, revealed as his sister, in Haddonfield. After a brutal chase, they crash through a second-floor window, landing on the ground below. Laurie, dazed, grabs Loomis's revolver. She fires multiple shots point-blank at Michael's head, the gun jamming repeatedly before a final bullet strikes his skull. His breathing stops, and his body goes still, blood pooling beneath him. In the 2009 continuation, the headshot disfigures Michael's face, but doesn't kill him. He resumes killing, driven by visions of his mother. In the theatrical ending, Michael is impaled on farm equipment, the metal spikes piercing his torso. Police then fire a barrage of bullets, shredding his body until he lies lifeless. In the director's cut, Michael kills Loomis by snapping his neck. Police shoot Michael repeatedly, and Laurie, in a vision, stabs his corpse. Both endings confirm his death in this timeline. Ignoring all but the 1978 film, in 2018, Laurie, now a recluse, has fortified her home into a fortress. Michael escapes during a transfer and returns to Haddonfield. Laurie, with her daughter Karen and granddaughter Allison, lures him into her house's basement, rigged with steel doors and gas lines. They lock him inside and ignite the gas, setting the house ablaze. Flames engulf the basement, the heat melting fixtures as Michael is trapped with no escape. Unknowingly freeing Michael. Firefighters extinguish the blaze, unknowingly freeing Michael. He launches a killing spree, slaughtering responders. A mob, led by Tommy Doyle, hunts him down, attacking with bats, knives, and guns. Bullets and blows rain down, and Michael falls. Karen stabs him in the back with a kitchen knife, believing him defeated, but he rises soon after. 4 years later, in 2022, Laurie faces Michael in a final confrontation. She pins him to a kitchen counter, driving knives through his hands to anchor them. She slits his throat, cutting deep into the arteries, then slices his wrists, causing rapid blood loss. Michael weakens, his movements sluggish. His body is paraded to a junkyard, where it's fed into an industrial shredder. The machine's blades tear through flesh and bone, reducing him to fragments in front of the town. There's always more hidden beneath the surface, so don't stop here. Click the next video on your screen to uncover even more details you might have missed.